everybody to yet another episode of Learning Perspectives. Today, again, we have with us Pankaj, and we will be discussing a movie called Gehraiyaan. Hi, Pankaj, how are you?
Hi, Geetika. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am very well too. All right, so a new movie and a little bit of understanding of this movie. I would really like you to throw some light on it and tell me what exactly did you see in this movie this time?
Right. Geetika, Gehraiyaan is made by Shakun Batra, who is one of my favorite directors. He's earlier made another very beautiful film called Kapoor and Sons. He made it in 2016, and before that, he made a very quiet and a very nice film called Ek Mayor Ek Do. So I was really looking forward to Gehraiyaan. And when I was watching Gehraiyaan, again, the film made so much of popular noise and so many different opinions. But what struck me the most, there was this very beautiful feeling of luck in the film, which I'll come to that in a few moments. But what Gehraiyaan to me was basically about how the lives of the children are closely tied to those of their parents. They inherit their genes, but sometimes they also inherit their destiny, and then they pass on the same to their children as if they're traveling through a loop. you know uh, Early in the film, Deepika's character, who is called Alicia, she's shown as a child, and she tells her mother that, I feel stuck, I cannot breathe. And her mother used to cry by herself in this, saying the same thing, that I feel so stuck. So the movie is basically trying to see, the lives of the children mirror the lives of our parents. Alicia keeps wondering all through the film that if she will end up like her mother, stuck, helpless. And this feeling of being stuck becomes her lifelong companion. Her friends move to the US, like her cousin and their other friend, Karan. And then she was all left behind in Nagpur with her father, and she had to build and struggle to get her life of her own. She wants to start a fitness app, but she's struggling to get funding. And when, in the very little moment during her presentation, her app gets stuck. So, it's these small details that just,
Wonderful.
yeah, struck out to me in the film. And then she's also in a 6-year long relationship with her friend Karan. In that too, also she's feeling stuck, and then at one point when she starts her affair with Zen, she says, I don't like being at home, I feel stuck. So she's always having this feeling, and that she thinks that, it's because she has the worst luck in the world. When her presentation, after when her app got stuck, she says she blames her luck. And then uh, then she meets this guy called Zain, who is her cousin's fiance. And then during a moment in when they are in Goa, I think, not Goa, Alibag, um, he tells her, to dream big in life, because he wasn't born with a silver spoon himself, but he took chances in life to become the kind of person that he wanted to be. He comes from a very poor family, and then Anisha tells him, she thinks he was lucky. But he said, no, I don't think it was luck. And then Alicia replies him, lucky people never believe in luck. But again, I felt the film is, trying to make this point that, lucky are the people who make different choices to get what they want. They don't wait for things to be given to them. Even, there is another tiny moment when they are in that cruise. There is this moment where a bird shits on Zen, and then Tia says, oh, that's lucky. You see, in that moment also, they put that thing, on Zen, because luck is favoring him. And then I think the most another beautiful scene where all this ties up was between Alicia and her father Vinod, who tells her, that she has to accept the past and just choose to move on. And then she says, she thinks that her choices don't matter. And she's very crying. All her life she was trying to run away from her father, but ultimately we see that, it was not her father, but it was her mother who was sort of a villain in the story. But then her father tells her, ये जानने का एक ही तरीका है, that you give yourself a chance. you know uh, again, the film throws back to the earlier moment in the film, when her mother and she were playing this game of dice, and her mother lost the game, and again her mother says, bad luck. Again, that feeling of luck and choices came through this film, and then Alicia kept blaming luck as well. But I again believe, luck is nothing but it's the probability of an unbiased die. There is an equal chance of getting either one or a six. It's just how you throw it. Again, it's totally random. You can't blame your luck for, some of these things. You just have to work towards the things that you want in life. And then, this whole concept of luck um, reminded me of this very beautiful film called Zoya Akhtar's Luck by Chance, where also there was this similar talk about, how we have to basically fight for the things we want in life. Again, in this, I don't know if you remember, there was the scene in this film, Gehraiyaan itself, Zen tells Alisha, it's like जब कोई तुम्हारे बारे में ना सोच रहा हो ना, खुद को अपने बारे में सोचना पड़ता है. He was in a relationship with the Tia, and his father helped her to finance their business. And then he tells again to Alicia, यहाँ भी अपनी किस्मत का इंतजार कर रही हो. Again, I felt this was again this whole concept of luck and choices, and that we have to fight for the things that we want in life. So I felt that the film beautifully portrayed these kind of emotions. And although luck, Zen kept on talking about luck, but he did sort of some unethical practices as well. He did in the business. Did you see some things there?
Yeah, this is first of all, this is so beautiful that how we are drawing parallels between two different movies. And I totally believe, I totally, I'm seeing this when you're saying that how luck has been used across movies, and how people are putting things on luck rather than, saying that maybe luck is like saying that there'll be some divine intervention, and
Right.
I will suddenly become things would suddenly move for me, right? So we can't live life like that. Rather,
Right.
we need to take a lot of actions just to get something that we want. And like you mentioned, I also did see some unethical practices that were done by Zayn himself. Although it comes down to his choices that he made
Right.
it,
Exactly.
the various kinds of choices he was making. It started with, having an affair with Alicia, which is played by Deepika. And then, also when he runs into this trouble
Hmm.
in the company that he works for. And at that time, they suddenly see this on their phone, right? That some man, Vijay Sen, has
Right.
committed a scam, and there is this concept of valuation that comes in. So it's just shown that his boss, his partner, and Zayn himself are talking, and they both are, now so so scared because this guy has committed a fraud where he's given some bad loans and he is now in custody.
Right.
So
Right.
Rajat Kapoor, who is playing the role of his partner, he's like, our now we have a valuation gap. So we'll just understand what exactly does he mean by that. So valuation itself means just the current worth of the business, right? And
Right.
Rajat Kapoor keeps on telling him that now we would have a valuation gap of 60 to 65 crores, right?
Got it.
So valuation gap itself technically means a book value minus market value. So whatever gap that is there is called the valuation gap. So book value essentially means which is in the books of the company or the balance sheet of the company, right? So total assets minus total liability is the book value. And if we look at it from an accounting perspective, it becomes shareholders' equity, right?
Got
Because
it.
in the balance sheet, assets is equal to liabilities plus shareholders' equity. And I'm just
Got it.
reversing the equation. So book value would become this part. That means shareholders' equity means the money of the shareholder. So
Okay.
That is what, so now they're worried about the book value because what this guy has done
Right.
would essentially erode their capital. And now they are very worried. So, and before I move on, what strategy they use, there is, I just want to discuss what market cap is or market value is, because I just told you that it is book value minus market
Mm-hmm.
value, valuation gap. So the market value or market capitalization is defined by current market price, which is the share price, into total number of outstanding shares. Now,
Right.
this itself is the most important metric for any company. So this is
Got it.
like market cap. So they are now very worried about what they have to do, because now they have a huge gap of 65 crores. So they are trying to bridge this now, and they come up with a strategy that Zayn thinks he can ask Tia for this beach house property,
Right.
right? And again, he's trying to con her as well. So he's trying to tell her, we'll mortgage it, we'll do this, we'll do that. But his intentions are different, right? He wants to sell it off and get that, and do all these unethical practices.
Right.
And then later he also wants to kill kill one of the girls. He imagines that he's drowning Tia in
Right.
he's on the ship. Then
Right. Right.
later he who he's drowning is Deepika's character, which is Alicia.
Right.
So okay, the spoilers are there in this. So but
Yeah.
what he's doing, right? So he's making different kinds of choices throughout the movie, and this is not just based on chance. This is his conscious choice that he's making. He's doing that out of the way he is. And like one other thing that you rightly mentioned, um, what I saw was the generational aspect in the movie. Like everybody's, we when you look from a spiritual perspective, a lot of people say your parents live inside of you, and that
Right.
is why we keep repeating patterns over and
Mm-hmm.
over. And there are so many patterns in this movie that their children are doing exactly the same things that their parents did, and maybe their parents had done the same thing.
Right.
And it
Right.
the movie ended by Tia saying that we can probably come out of this and break the pattern, right?
Right, right.
So,
Absolutely. That's why like it was this whole loop sort of a thing. And I also feel like, I feel like some days I think I'm turning into my father or my mother, the way some of their habits,
yeah,
we learn from them consciously or unconsciously,
it's
we
mostly
imbibe those.
unconscious.
Yeah, like we imbibe those in ourselves. So I
Yeah.
think the film was very beautiful. And when you were speaking about this, it also reminded me of our first discussion on Dil Dhadakne Do. That also we spoke about, the different family businesses and valuation. And, so yeah, it's a nice throwback to what we discussed in the first series as well. So if anybody is interested, they can go and check out the earlier episode as
Yes,
well.
because it talks about raising funds as well. So
Right.
even in this movie, Alicia, Deepika's character, wants to start her own app, yoga app, and
Right.
Zayn again, funds her
Her, right.
so that she can start it. So that's another concept that was seen in this movie as well, along with Dil Dhadakne Do. Dil Dhadakne Do had so many others, right? So
Right, right.
yeah, another great example. So, whoever wants to learn this in detail can check out the video of Dil Dhadakne Do as well. All right.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Pankaj, for joining me today. It was so much fun, as usual, deconstructing Gehraiyaan with you. And I look forward for next movie that we will deconstruct. Thank you so much for joining me.
Same here. It was fun, like, and Gehraiyaan was such a good film. It's always fun to learn something from films. Like films are teach a lot about life, so it's always nice to learn from different perspectives as well. So that's why we call it learning perspectives. So okay, thank you, Geetika. Yes, looking
Thank
forward
you
to
so
the
much.
next one.
Thank you everybody for watching this. Please follow Pankaj on his channel. His details are in the description box below. Thank you everybody. Thank you for watching. It's a goodbye.